Have you ever felt like your mind is just a little bit stuck? Caught in these loops of worry or judgment, or just feeling kind of separate from everyone and everything? Well, what if you could actually train your mind to be open, vast, truly boundless? Today, we're going to explore a path to do exactly that, and we're drawing straight from the earliest Buddhist teachings on compassion and emptiness.
So here's our roadmap. First, we'll talk about what it even means to open the heart. Then we'll dive into the 4 essential qualities that make it happen. After that, we'll get into a specific practice to grow them, see how this unlocks a really profound wisdom about reality itself, and finally, we'll figure out how to bring all this boundless potential right into our everyday lives.
All right, so first things first. The goal here is to make a shift from a mind that feels tight and constrained to one that feels expansive and free. And this isn't about becoming some totally different person. It's really about unlocking a potential that's already waiting inside all of us.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to want an open heart, but how do you actually do it? Well, it turns out the early texts give us a surprisingly direct and practical roadmap.
And it's so important to know this isn't some new age invention. These methods for transforming our inner world are ancient. They're found in the earliest collections of the Buddha's teachings. Think of them as a kind of timeless technology for the mind.
The entire practice is built on developing 4 specific qualities. They're called the immeasurables, and for a good reason. When you really cultivate them, they become boundless, extending to all beings without any limit. These are the core tools for opening the heart.
The foundation, the starting point, is metta. You can translate it as loving kindness or just benevolence. At its core, it's really about friendship. A simple, genuine well-wishing for others to be happy and well. No strings attached.
The classic way to picture metta is to think of the midday sun. It doesn't pick and choose what to shine on. Not the beautiful or the broken, the clean or the dirty. It just shines, everywhere. That's the quality we're aiming for, unconditional and all-encompassing.
Next up is compassion. And this isn't pity, not at all. It's an active, heartfelt wish for others to be free from their pain and whatever's causing it. It's a quality that doesn't shy away from suffering. In fact, it gets its strength and its brilliance when it looks right at it.
This is captured so perfectly by the image of a setting sun. Just as darkness starts to gather, the sun's light somehow becomes even more stunning. It shows us that our own compassion can be the most powerful and beautiful right when things are at their most difficult.
The third quality is sympathetic joy, and it is the direct antidote to envy and jealousy. It's that genuine happiness we can feel when we see other people doing well or finding joy. It's such a powerful way to expand our own happiness, because suddenly we're not just limited to our own good luck.
For this one, think of the rising sun at dawn. You know that feeling of freshness, of light, of new possibility? Well, cultivating sympathetic joy brings that exact same refreshing, light-filled quality right into our own minds.
And finally, we have equanimity. Now, it's so important to get this right. This is not cold indifference or apathy, not at all. It's a deep sense of balance that lets us care fully without getting overwhelmed or attached to how things turn out. It's what keeps our compassion from burning out.
Think of the full moon. It doesn't create its own frantic heat. It just calmly reflects light. Equanimity gives us that same cool, bright, and tranquil quality. It lets us see things clearly and respond with wisdom and balance no matter what's going on.
Okay, so we've got these 4 really powerful qualities, but how do we actually grow them? The early texts describe a specific technique, and you know what? It might be a little different from the methods you're used to.
This is so fascinating. A lot of us have learned practices where you repeat phrases like, "May you be happy," towards specific people, right? Well, it seems the earliest method was different. It was all about radiating these qualities in all directions from the very beginning, making the mind boundless and objectless, instead of zeroing in on individuals.
And the method itself is incredibly simple. You just start by feeling, let's say, loving kindness in your heart. Then you intentionally radiate that feeling forward, then to your right, then behind you, to the left, up above you, and finally down below you, until it just fills all of space.
Now, practicing this boundless radiation doesn't just make us feel good. It actually prepares the mind for a really profound shift in how we see everything. It opens the door from having an open heart to having a deeply wise and liberated mind. This is what the texts call the wisdom of emptiness.
So, what happens when the mind truly lets go of its boundaries? When it stops rigidly defining me versus you, or this versus that? This very question leads us straight to this idea of emptiness.
To help us wrap our heads around this, the texts use these amazing similes. First, our physical form, our body, is compared to foam on a river. It looks solid for a second, right? But it's fragile, it's insubstantial, and it's constantly being carried away by the current of change. It's not this solid, permanent thing we think it is.
And what about our feelings, both joy and sadness? They're compared to bubbles on water during a rainstorm. They pop up for a moment and then they're gone in an instant. This helps us see them not as these solid parts of us, but as these fleeting, conditioned responses, as temporary as the bubbles themselves.
And finally, our perceptions. The way we interpret the whole world are like a mirage. From a distance, they seem incredibly real, totally solid. But when you get up close and you really investigate, you find there's nothing substantial there. It's a construction of the mind. And seeing this, well, that's the beginning of freedom.
Okay, I know this might all sound a bit abstract, but the goal here is intensely practical. It's all about taking this boundless heart and this clear-saying wisdom off the meditation cushion and weaving it into every single moment of your life.
This quote from an instruction given to a guy named Bahia is the ultimate practical takeaway. It means training the mind to experience life directly without piling on all the layers of judgment and stories and self-identification. When you see something, just see it. When you hear something, just hear it. In that little gap, before the mind builds a whole story, that's where you find freedom.
So we're left with a question. When you really start to let go of the rigid boundaries of yourself, when you see the fluid nature of experience, and when you meet all of it with an open, immeasurable heart, what becomes possible? What are you truly capable of?